Alright folks, in this video we're going to solve the word preach and preaching to the glory of the Trinity. I feel led to do so. I got this word in a worship time out at Routley Park, which equals triple love. Love plus love plus love. I just got back there. And preach equals, lo and behold, half a love plus 888 bookends. There's our famous stacks of half love and or love plus 888 to the glory of Jesus equals 888 in the Triune God at large. And then when you say preaching, like the act of actively preaching, that perfectly becomes love plus half a love. So let's get it on the board. This is epic. And then I got a bunch more gems that I want to talk about that are just so awesome to the glory of God. So let's remind ourselves who we're talking about here. God. The true God. The three in one. God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and Holy Ghost. This is important, and this is really cool. Our understanding about God and this world in which we live. Okay, so preach. Preach, preacher, and then of course preacher equals Jesus, equals Messiah. So right now I am fulfilling the role of a preacher, equals Jesus, equals Messiah, equals gospel, equals cross, equals the King, equals energy, equals element. So preach, let's write this official equation like E equals MC squared. Preach equals half love plus 888. And God has been leading us to find stacks of love and or half love plus 888 24. So here's your half a love right in the center. And then here's your 888 bookends in the word preach. And at the center it's really stunning because you've got this 3 and 6 and 9, literally 9 plus 18 to make 27, your half love, and then pH is 24, your 888. And then when you say preaching, that equals geniusly half a love plus love, the famous 81, which is 3 times 3. I happen to have a nice string of from the solid solution left over, equals the famous 81, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, preaching. So there you go. Can you find love in preaching? Yes, I love preaching. And so now when you say, I love preaching, you get love plus half a love plus 9, which is 144 perfectly. Yes. That equals God bless you. The famous 12 times 12. I love preaching. How many letters is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. So yeah, there's 9 letters. Amazing. So preaching adds to 9 times 9, 9 letters. And then when you say, I love preaching, you add 5 to that 14. Okay. Cool. Okay, so more gems I got while in Routley Park. Everything is perfect. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Oh my, there's a gem for you. Everything is perfect. And I said to myself, I'm finally satisfied. Now that I know that God's sovereignty, everything right now is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Everything is perfect. Do the math on that phrase. Everything is perfect. Everything is plus 1. Is plus 1. Perfect is plus 1. 3 plus 1 is divided by 3 in 3 words. Genius. Okay, so more gems I want to preach on. Nike sandal. I hold in my hands here a Nike sandal. Right Nike sandal. In fact, this is the exact Nike sandal that I was just wearing at Routley Park, and I've been wearing this pair of Nike sandals for a long time. Okay? And I feel led to solve it. Can you find love in a Nike sandal? It's really obvious. Nike equals my last name, Kubi, 39, and swish and swoosh divided by 3, and sandal divides by 3. So let's solve this Nike sandal. These are my official pair of Nike sandals that I wear all the time, including what I just was wearing. So let's find love in a Nike sandal. I insist. Okay. So, and this is really cool. So Nike equals 39. Sandal also begins with 39. And then the L is like a giant stake in the ground that equals 12 to bump the whole thing up to 90 exactly. Just came for 3. So Nike equals 39. these letters all the way up until here equals 39 equals Nike. Like, do you know how many pairs of Nike sandals there are in this universe? Millions by God's ordinance. And they are, as I said, folks, exactly what they're supposed to be. Exactly. Okay? Not kind of maybe. By the way, by Divine Ordinance, I also wear size 12, which is a very perfect number for the number 3. Okay, so Nike sandal. 39 plus 39 equals 78. Well, that's just waiting for a 12 to come along to make 90, which is king for 3. 3 times 30, that's the number of king in Hebrew, Melech, Nike sandal. So there you go. Now let's find love in this Nike sandal. Pretty easy. You can do it a variety of ways. You can just grab this 39 here, grab this 15 here. There's your love. And then the rest is obviously a multiple of 9, 36. 54 plus 36. Pretty sweet. Okay, and I got to preach on more gems from details. I said in my previous video, and I fulfilled my word, that I was going to watch these perfect goals that were ordained for the Vancouver Whitecaps FC win of the Canadian Championship, and by O. Rivero here, and the other one by Tim Parker. And so I did, and I got a bunch of gems on them that I just want to preach on the accuracy of God and the perfection of it all. So the game-winning goal by O. Rivero, you can watch these on YouTube. To the glory of God, just enter Vancouver Whitecaps FC Canadian Championship win highlights. And the assist for this goal by Rivero was by Tekera, whose last name on his back equals 60. Equals holy, equals pure, equals pray, equals believe, equals word, equals diamond. His first name is Christian. Don't you just love how Jesus is showing up at the forefront of everything? His first name is Christian, spelled without an H that adds to 93, thereby dividing by 3. So when you say Christian Tekera, that adds to the famous 153. The number of fishes Jesus ordained his disciples to catch the third time he appeared after his resurrection. So he did all the work. If you watch the goal, he does all the dancing, he does all the work. He basically, the ball would have gone in. The ball was basically in the net. It was rolling in because of Tekera's work. And Rivero, it just comes streaking in, being the excited guy that he is, and at the very last minute, just before it's rolling over the line, he just smashes it into the back of this net, and then continues his momentum and produces this famous photo that I now look at here, where he literally leaps into the back of the netting with his momentum just carrying him through. Awesome. Okay, but Tekera is the one who did the work. Tekera equals 60, equals word, equals diamond. We solved O. Rivero. Both of their names are just loaded. They're just maximum. This was the game-winning goal. Tekera equals 60. Christian, his first name, 93. And there's so many obvious gems in the whole tournament. While you're watching this highlight on YouTube, I guarantee if you watch this, because, of course, the sponsor of the tournament is sponsored by Amway. It's called the Amway Canadian Championship. And so the Amway name is all around the billboards, all around the soccer field, always in view of the video cameras. Amway divides by 3. It adds to 63. Divides by 9, triple of 21s. And so you see that one really obvious in white and blue, which divides by 3. And then the second goal. And then I dug into the second goal by, which is photographed, the celebration is photographed famously here on the front page of this province, which I deliver, by Parker. A rookie, a defenseman no less. What are the odds? Parker equals Jehovah, 26 equals God. Look at the hang time on his celebration. That's a good leap. But he got the second goal. And it was a gorgeous header off a corner kick, and details on the numbers 3 here. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the exact time on the clock that first goal went in. Okay? It was 38:52, which divides by 3 perfectly. See, you have to watch it perfectly. Perfectly. Okay? If you just read the newspaper, it'll tell you the goal was scored in roughly the 40th minute. It's like, no, I want precision. I want to see the perfection of God. So you watch that goal scored by Rivero after all the work done by Tekera, and it goes in perfectly at 38 minutes in 52 seconds. Well, add up those numbers. It divides by 3. 3 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2 is 18. Divides by 3, starting with 3. 3 plus 15, no less. And then Parker, so Parker equals Jehovah and 26 equals God. You're just like, okay. But he scores off a corner kick, and it was the 6th corner kick by the Vancouver Whitecaps. The other team had 0. Montreal Impact, 0. An obvious 3 on the 6th corner kick. And we've gotten that gem before. The famous phrase, 3rd time's the charm, we say in English. And there's a reason that is the case. It's because Jehovah is sovereign, and it's before the trillions of watching angels that God makes sure the 3s are maximum in this whole story. Do the math on the famous phrase, 3rd time's the charm. It adds perfectly to will you marry me? 210. 7-fold set of 3s times 10. Okay, so here comes a corner kick, the 6th corner kick, pair of 3s by the Vancouver Whitecaps, and it gets headed in brilliantly by Mr. Jehovah Parker equals God, 26, 26 equals God. And there it is. That's the final goal, the only 2 goals that were scored. And that was also the 6th goal that was scored. Apparently, I don't understand how that aggregate thing works. I wasn't understanding what that whole aggregate, I still don't understand actually, I have to look that up. But apparently the final aggregate score total was 4-2. Like before that game it was 2-2 and then it became 4-2 and I'm just like, okay, I'll have to look that one up. But that's too good. Like the numbers of everything. So the last name, let's get this straight. Like now you can look up who kicked that corner kick and you can solve him. But the 3 last names, you know, on the backs of the shirts of the men. Parker, O. Rivero, he puts an extra O in there for his first name, and then DeCara, all screaming out 3 in maximum capacity. Oh look, there's DeCara right there, actually, in this photograph. There's DeCara right there, and he wears number 13, which glorifies the number 3, half of 26, which equals God. So there's DeCara, which adds to 60 brilliantly. You can find love by popping off an A and an E, and the rest equals love. So DeCara did everything to set up the first goal. In fact, it was going in, and then O. Rivero smashes it in. And I preached on this before. Why did all this happen? They've tried to win this tournament 14 times. And now on the 15th time, God gave it to them to the glory of His name. And the name of the team is Vancouver Whitecaps FC, which adds to love plus love plus love plus triple A plus triple A plus triple A. The same value as gold sun plus silver moon. Wow. So, sovereignty of God. Perfection. Hallelujah. Oh, and then it says Tim Parker. His first name is Tim, so when you say Tim Parker, that adds to 102. The first 3-digit number divides by 3. So, and then here they are on the front page, hoisting the trophy. Everyone wants the trophy. Trophy divides by 3 in 6 letters. The trophy, therefore, in 9 letters divides by 3. Okay, perfect. Sovereignty of God. But you got to get accurate. You got to get down to the second. You got to get down to the detail. The game-winning goal was scored at 38 minutes, 52 seconds into the match. That divides by 3 perfectly. Okay? There you go. Beautiful. Now you know why we love sports so much. There's this thrill of the moment. And what's going to happen in the moment. Okay. Very cool. And then, that is just so awesome. And then more gems that I just got to shoot from the hip. That phrase divides by 3. Preach on. The winner of the women's long jump, like, it's all over the place. By the way, my last name is Kubi equals Nike by way of review. Nike has been my favorite brand since I was a young kid, pretty much, for sport. One of. I also like Adidas and stuff, but Nike is my choice, definitely. But talk about famous last names on the chests of performing athletes and on the backs of performing athletes, all over the place. The winner of the women's long jump at this World Championships, what a fantastic, ferocious competition the women's long jump was at this World Track and Field Championships. They were battling to the end. It was like everyone pulled out their best leaps in the final attempts, and the medals were just changing hands, like, you know, in the final rounds. And the winner You got to forgive me, look up her last name, it divides by 3. I just remember doing it. It's a long last name that divides by 3. Christabel Nettie from Canada, we talked about many times. She got 4th, but the winner, her full last name divides by 3. The winner of the women's hammer throw, she's the world record holder, the only woman. She was the first woman to throw over 80 meters, and she's still the world record holder. Her last name divides by 3. It's stunning. We preached on her. And more and more gems just keep coming. I might, oh yeah, and then Shubenkov wins the 110-meter hurdles. That one is priceless because he's trailing the entire race. He does not look like he's going to win. He's like famous threes. He's like the third runner in from the left as you're watching. He's a real standout in the field because he's wearing this like sky blue outfit from Russia. He's white as white can be. Most of the rest of the field are much darker in skin tone. He's behind the leader through the entire race until the very end. God loves to pull surprises. He loves to do that. And the name on his chest is Shubenkov. It's too perfect. 3 letters, making 3 syllables, Shubenkov, 3 letters in Shu, 3 letters in Ben, 3 letters in K-O-V, that all divide by 3 individually. It's just too obvious. And then Russia in big letters, capitalized across the top of his chest, divides by 3, of course. Shubenkov, Russia, hurdlers divides by 3, hurdles divide, you know. It just, it just keeps coming. Like, the winners of the threes just keep coming. And my favorite for today was Bishop equals Jehovah. You know, breaking the Canadian record with number 9 on her side, no less. Bishop equals Jehovah. In the 800 meters, and it was a photo finish comprised of 3 winners. You're just like, how much more ridiculous is this 3 fest going to get? Well, it is. It's maximum. It's God's maximum display. And now, glory, we're just being awakened to it. And now I know why the Vancouver Whitecaps have been like on the front page of the sports sections of the provincial newspapers that I've been delivering, you know, for a while now. It's just, they're having the season of their lives. They just won a Canadian championship. Okay. So was there anything else that we watched from the, and then keep watching the decathlon. Ashton Eaton is doing outstanding. He's almost on his world record point total. Damian Warner is doing outstanding. And we preached on him and solved him in the previous, and I knew there was going to be special things happening in the decathlon. The women's winner was Jessica Ennis-Hill, that divides by 3. Ennis-Hill on her front divides by 3, just like Brianne Thiessen-Eaton. She's the silver medalist. But the winner for the women's was 6,669 points. Obvious threes. Well, the men's is going to be even greater because we know the men's decathlon is the crown of the whole athletic world. And so pay close attention to what Ashton Eaton continues to pull off, and Damian Warner. Both superb athletes. Derek Druin qualified in the high jump. Just flawless. He's looking gorgeous. We could see a world record challenge in the high jump in this very track meet. There are a number of athletes that have jumped over 240. The world record is just 5 centimeters higher than that. It's getting close. It's getting attacked. But Druin, his first name is Derek, my first name. But Druin, his last name on his chest is just loaded. There's love, R-O-U, plus 9, plus the D-N, 18, is love plus half a love. Druin. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Druin on his chest. And that's why he's leaping over bars and he's just clearing everything like a breeze. And I can't wait to see what his performance is like in the finals of the men's high jump. It just keeps escalating. The threes just keep coming. It just seems to me like everyone, like folks, you just heard enough already. It just seems to me like everyone that's got a last name that divides by 3 is winning everything. It's just pure 3. It's just like, boom, the threes are just winning everything. And if it doesn't divide by 3 exactly, it knits together with, like, the law of prime comes in and you're just like, whoa. You know, another one of my favorites, Andre DeGrasse. The Canadian team who won the 4x100 meter relay, but Andre DeGrasse, only 20 years old, sprinting like a crazy man. And grass with an E equals Jehovah. You're just like, okay, so let's get this straight. And they're all from Canada, like my country. It's like grass equals Jehovah. Bishop equals Jehovah. And they're smashing Canadian records in sprint races that are very difficult to beat records in. Like, it's real difficult to beat an 800-meter record, especially one that's 14 years old. And it's real difficult to beat a Canadian, like, 100-meter, 200-meter record. Or, like, you know, I don't know if Donovan Bailey still has. Anyways, I have to look that up. But this is just really, really awesome. I like that one on the Whitecaps. I was like, and then you watch the goal. It's hilarious. Takara, like, beats the goaltender, gets a shot off, rebounds off the goalie's leg, and it just starts spinning straight towards the open net. It would have gone in even if Rivero didn't touch the ball. Takara, 13. You're like, pure threes. 13 is the sixth prime, 3 plus 3, and 13 out of your mouth, THIRTEEN, divides by 3. 1 3, just like, it was half of God, you know. And then Rivero just smashes it in and runs into the net for good measure. And that all took place at BC Place Stadium. BC Place divides by 3, Stadium divides by 3. Oh, and it's all sponsored by Amway. Amway divides by 3. You're just like, okay, sovereignty of God, everything's perfect. I worship thee, Jehovah. Let the glory of Jehovah rise among us. Typically, that's a song that rises up inside of me when I wake up from rest or sleep or meditating, and I will go out to Rubley Park, which equals Triple Love, and I'll just naturally start singing that song on my way. Let the glory of Jehovah rise among us. Let the glory of Jehovah rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. And traditionally, the lyrics are, let the glory of the Lord rise among us. But his personal name is Jehovah. And you should always say his personal name, Jehovah. Everywhere in your King James Bible, or most English Bibles, in the Old Testament that you read the Lord in all capital letters, it should actually read Jehovah. And we've proven it mathematically. Okay? Jehovah, pairwise threes from the inside out, a triple of the ninth prime to the glory of the Trinity. Jehovah is 3 persons. So you should say Jehovah, not the Lord. Go higher. Jehovah is his personal name. There are many lords that have existed throughout world history, but there is only one Jehovah. Okay? So use his personal name, Jehovah. So, let the glory of Jehovah rise among us. Let the glory of Jehovah rise among us. Now I want to preach on an extra bonus on this, and God was giving me revelations and just extra feedback on his name, the pronunciation of it. It's Yehovah. You can even soften the J into a Y. Okay, like Yehovah. Very soft, softer than Jehovah. God is sovereign, and he's ordained Jehovah to be the common spelling, okay? But you can also soften it, if you like, to say Yehovah. It's really soft to begin on your lips. Yehovah. Okay? And that parallels even more of what it is like in Hebrew. But what's special about that, as far as the numbers is concerned, is that a Y is plus 1, just like a J. So if you substitute a Y for a J in Jehovah, it divides by 3, because Y is plus 1 and J are plus 1, and the rest stays the same. Okay? So, the bookends here make 33, the bookends here make 18. A Y is 15 points higher than a J. 3s. So, Jehovah is 69, 3s. Yehovah, spelled in English like that, is 84, 3s. So you can pronounce it either way. But in the sovereignty of God, Jehovah with a J is the most famous spelling all over the world today. But you can also, this is like a 1-2 punch. You can also say Yehovah like that, and it divides by 3 perfectly. And that's a softer pronunciation, like Yehovah. It's just gorgeous, Yehovah. Consider on your deathbed, it's very breathy. It's like you can say his personal name just like in a breath. Yehovah, the existing one, the Triune God. Yehovah, Jehovah, And so, like, for example, it parallels Jesus. The name Jesus comes from Jehovah is salvation. Okay? Yeshua. In Hebrew, it's a y, a y. Okay? By divine ordinance, though, in English, God is sovereign. Okay? In English, Jesus equals Joshua. Remember Joshua from the Old Testament, whose name is Yeshua? Sovereignty of God. That's just a bonus gem I like to preach on there. So, Jehovah is sovereign. So when you say Jehovah is God, that adds to 1, 2, 3 perfectly. Jehovah is God, 15 points higher. Okay. There you go. Too awesome. So, oh, by the way, I marvel how I just got random words still sitting around and it makes me like, oh, there's another goal that you must watch. Speaking of awesome Vancouver Whitecaps highlights, this is one of the best soccer highlights I've ever seen in my life. In fact, it's the best header soccer goal that I've probably ever seen in my life. And if you watch it, you'll probably agree. You know, probably even better than the Van Persie goal, the Flying Dutchman Van Persie header that we saw in the recent World Cup. Darren Mattox, and for the threes, it's just perfect. If you do a YouTube search for Darren Mattox header goal, or if you simply go to Vancouver Whitecaps FC YouTube channel and sort the videos by number of views, right near the top is an amazing header goal by Darren Mattox. And by divine ordinance, Darren Mattox adds perfectly to love plus love plus love. It is the highest leaping header that I've ever seen in my life. It's almost shocking. You almost cannot believe your eyes. It's like an angel gave the guy an extra boost from the hips to elevate as high as he did. If you watch it, so Mattox divides by 3 and Darren divides by 3. Worship leader at the church I attended for years, Christian Life Assembly, was named Darren. Darren Mattox. Mattox's last name divides by 3, just like Darren, but Darren Mattox adds to triple love perfectly. You must watch that video if you can on YouTube of his flying header goal. Like, I've never seen a soccer player leap so high to head in a goal. And the cross for the header came from like so far out. It's like way outside the box. It's like, I don't know how many yards. It's like three-quarters of the way down the field from the far left flank. And he leaps over top. He's like leaps over top of a defender. He's way higher than the goalie. It's crosses like that. You know, everyone should say, oh, that should be a shoo-in for the goalie to leap up with his hands and grab. He leapt to the moon and just dinged it off his head into the goal. And he had a defender on him and a goalie was right there. Off a high arcing loop from like way out. I have not seen a header like that in soccer ever. The vertical that he gets is astonishing. And the British announcers are just like, I can't believe how high he just jumped. But Darren Mattox, to the glory of God, by divine ordinance equals triple love. And you can solve the number. He was wearing number 12. King number for 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And it just keeps coming. Okay. Now you know why we love the highlights. It's God's majesty. Okay, but look for the threes. Look for the threes and find the love. So can you find love in Mattox? Yeah. Famous Matt. You know, this is the first book of the New Testament. It's like, can you find love in the New Testament? Oh yeah, the first 4 letters equals love. What's the first book of the New Testament in English in the Holy Bible? Matthew. M-A-T-T. Well, in 4 letters that equals love. So you can't go anywhere in reading your New Testament Bible without hitting love right at the beginning. God has been leading us to find love in all the words and phrases and names of world history that we saw. Well, we just found it at the first book of the Bible. I have a English-Spanish Bible right here. And I would not be surprised if even the Spanish version of Matthew started with M-A-T-T. Oh, it's San Mateo. Well, step right up. 33, you can get more, 33, in that case it's 48, but here's our English, first and foremost. So, the Gospel according to Matthew. So Matt equals love, and then Hugh divides by 3. It is 39. So Matthew equals 93, a triple of 31. Okay. and 3 times, and 31 boils down to 3 in 3 steps by the law of prime. 31 is the 11th prime, 11 is the 5th prime, 5 is the 3rd prime. So math equals 93, but the first 4 letters equals love. And then the more you look, the more you see. The bookends, the famous MW, as in men and women. You see an M on a men's washroom, a W upside down on a women's washroom, knit together to make 39. And then love is at the center of Matthew. Oh my goodness, we're getting more the more we look. So love is both, this is amazing. So love is at the center of Matthew, and it's also at the beginning of Matthew. M-A-T-T, love. A-T-T-H-E, love. Amazing. And that gets flanked with M-W for men and women. Like the men's washroom, you'll see an M on the front. The women's washroom, you'll see a W on the front. And there's love in the center. Okay? So, that's pure wisdom. That's gorgeous. Matthew. So, like I say, folks, you can't read very far in your Holy Bible without seeing the love. And of course, the book of Genesis divides by 3, the word Genesis. And if you want to be real cool, which you do, you'll knit together all the God-ordained English titles of the Holy Bible, Old and New Testament, and you'll get the maximum 3 fest, and it's a gorgeous number. Okay, so there you go. Isn't that awesome? Now, I kid you not, folks, that's the first time I have ever realized that love is at the center of Matthew and at the beginning of Matthew. It's the first time I've ever seen that. As we give, as we take steps of faith, God tells me to come home and preach on the word preaching, which I did, and we just get started, we get more. Because the Bible says, the law of Jesus says, as you give, you shall receive. It's like, and the river floweth. Okay? So, and all this is coming off of a soccer game. You see how efficient this all is? It's like 1 minute we're like preaching on the glory of God in, you know, the recent Canadian Championship Caps Cup win, and then we're following a highlight into Darren Mattock's flying header where he leaps through the air, and then we're sailing into like the Gospel of Matthew because of the letters M-A-T-T. There's only 26 letters, 26 equals God, and they're all efficiently being used everywhere in the perfect position. That's the pleasure of knowledge, and the pleasure of learning, and the pleasure of books and videos and name memorization is now your mind can travel through the universe and travel through time and travel through events and glorious moments and people and sequences and fill your mind. Your mind is like a garden. You want to plant a ton of flowers up here of glory that you've seen of God all over this world, and you memorize it. And then you can travel from one thing to the next, the speed of light, understanding the glory. So M-A-T-T is love. And then this is both divided by 3, and this is 30, so that's 48. Literally, Mattox is love plus a double of triple eights. There it is in real obvious fashion. And then, just for completeness here, let's officially write Matthew on the board. And so you got pairwise 3s from the inside out, but your love is at the center of Matthew. TGH in the center is 48, and then you've got 6, 39. That's amazing. So 2 teams that divide by 3, differing by 3. The 3 center letters are 48, and then the letters outside of that is 45. But love is at the center of Matthew, the first book of the New Testament. I tell you, date and time for historic purposes, it is exactly 7:20 p.m. August 28th, 2015 in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. My name is Derek Linder Reinhardt Kuby. I do not think that anyone has ever preached on the fact that love is sitting at the very beginning in the dead center of the first book of the New Testament. And of course, New divides by 3, and Testament divides by 3, and The divides by 3. So the New Testament, and Testament is 9 letters, New is 3 letters, and The is 3 letters. So the New Testament is 15 letters. I happen to have a copy of the New Testament published by Gideon Bibles. Well, Gideon equals love. Okay? Gideon Bibles. It's titled God Loves the World. This title divides by 3. New Testament. Truth is the most important gift you can give to anyone. Ignorance is sending people to hell. Ignorance is keeping people depressed. Ignorance and lack of knowledge is keeping people from the rich life of God. Truth is the most important gift of love you can give to someone. There are many things you can give to someone. People ask, how should I love the world? How should I love in the highest way possible? Give truth. Truth saves the world. Understanding, the knowledge of God. Okay? Give truth. Give them the story. Give them the true story. Tell them the truth about this story in which they were born and how God works and what He desires. Give the truth. Okay. There are many things you can give. You can give food, you can give clothes, you can give all sorts of things. But to give the truth is the most important, because the truth will stick with a person for life. And it's the truth that saves them. Okay, that's amazing. So, Matthew, wow. That's amazing that Darren Mattox equals triple love. So I see all these things as signs from God that He is in all things. And I believe God graduates people. When we're young, we're excited to prove ourselves and see what we can do with our own gifts and strengths and our abilities. And we love the sports and stuff. I think God is graduating people. I think God is preparing people for higher levels of service and higher levels of spreading the gospel and higher levels of pursuing Him. It's quite a, God is sovereign and He grows us. He teaches us things through sport, and He glorifies Himself through sport. And who knows what the future holds. I believe that most people, when they finish their sporting careers, should be called to labor in the truth of God and to become teachers and worshipers, and most of all, it's just being a God lover. So, but I love how God is in all of it. Okay, so, too awesome. Okay. So anything else that I had on the computer that I just wanted to preach on? I think that was pretty good. Oh! Yeah, no, so I, where's that card? This is going to make you laugh. I went to the buffet today, was led by the Holy Ghost to go. Buffet divides by 3. And I have to show you this because it divides by 3. And I know God ordains gems to just be plopped in my lap. And this is honestly one of my favorite advertisements that divides by 3 that I've ever seen. It's the picture of a little kid dreaming about food. God knows I love food. and he's going to eat at the buffet. And everything on this ad divides by 3. Okay? And so here I am preaching on it. Oh my, I need to turn the light on this camera. I should have had that on the whole time, but there. So, the best deal in the house for your whole house. And then this sticker cracks me up. Bring all the family. So bring all the family divides by 3. The buffet, both words divide by 3. And then this catchphrase, the best deal in the house for your whole house divides by 3. And there's this little kid like dreaming about like all the food that he's going to eat at the buffet. So this is their little ad card that they have at the buffet where I ate today, where they have the 3 station soft serve ice cream. Every word divides by 3. Vanilla, swirl, chocolate with swirl, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and vanilla with chocolate. And I've solved a bunch of things, but while I was there, so I feel led to bring a copy of the Providence newspaper. And then I was digging up gems. This is where I got more on the Whitecaps win. And then there's some bonus. There it is. And then you can just go through the paper and see what other gems you're going to find. This is a video I have to watch, and so I'm hot on the trail for the World Championships in athletics. Now this is really going to make your head spin. Don't lose your focus here, because now you're just going to see numbers galore. I mean, you know how the stats are. Really abundant. One thing at a time. The winner of the javelin in the World Championships. The javelin is such a glorious, glorious throw. It's a real favorite for the crowd. especially with the modern video we have. But the winner is Julius Jaego, which adds perfectly to 12 times 12, with what appears to be a throw of 304 feet, 2 inches. And that is the only throw that surpassed the 300 feet mark. I'm just saying, the threes are maximum at this time. And I'm just, the gold, like the gold mine of the IAAF World Championships in Beijing is just too abundant. Like, there's just too much that God is doing for the number 3 in these track and field championships. Track and field equals worship, love plus love. Championships, of course, divides by 3. World divides by 3. Like, I'm telling you, like, and the decathlon is the king of the whole thing. So pay very close attention to what happens in the men's decathlon. By Divine Ordinance, Ashton Eaton, the world record holder, is age 27, which is 3 times 3 times 3. And he hasn't completed a decathlon in 2 years. It's like Bobby Fischer. It's like he went into hiding. It's like, and now he's coming back at the perfect time to put on an amazing show. And he's already broken records. He ran 45 seconds flat in the 400 meters. Are you kidding me? He blew away the field. It was an embarrassing race. Not embarrassing. Everyone else does amazing, but it was just shocking, really. 45 seconds, more than half a second off his personal best. It's insane. And 45 seconds, that's the fastest time a decathlete has ever run a 400 meter. And the numbers are perfect. 45 flat. 45 is a triple of 15. That's the same value as Adam plus Eve in English, the first people God created. You're like, this is too much. And then he's like getting personal bests in a number of events, and he's just, everything that he pulled off in the first day was amazing, and he's basically on par with his world record performance. You're just like, this is gold. Like, there are special things happening by God's sovereignty at this World Championships. And Damian Warner is pulling a stunning performance as well. And he's younger. He's age 25, I believe. So now I have to watch this javelin throw by Julius Jaego. Because Julius Jaego equals 12 times 12, 144. And it's obvious because he's the only competitor, you'll see, that throws over 300 feet. Check your eyeballs. This is fine print. Fine print divides by 3 nanometers. Julius Jaego equals 144. He threw it 304 feet and 2 inches. By my calculations, those 3 numbers divide by 3. 3 plus 4 plus 2 equals 9. 3 times 3. Okay? And he's the only competitor in the entire field of men. The runner-up throws 291 feet. Significantly less. He's the only one to throw over 300 feet. So obvious threes. And the javelin, like it's the epic long bomb. It's the epic Hail Mary. It's the epic display of some guy throwing some object as far as he can. And it goes back to the early days of man, throwing spears, you know. It's so obviously pleasing to God to watch a javelin get hurled. I mean, it's just like, Ben-Hur, where the beams cross, you know. Anyways, over 300 feet. You're just like, I'm just getting happy watching this. So I have to watch that performance now. Julius Jaego, Mr. 12 times 12 himself. So I'm just like, and track and field equals love plus love. 3,000 meter steeplechase, and obvious 3 firsts there. Lovely time divides by 3. Like these are complicated names, but it's like insanely cool. Like this guy in the 3,000 meter steeplechase from Kenya who won in 91911, which divides by 3. His name is Hyven Kieng Jep Kemwai. I tell you, folks, God's variety is way better than like the Lord of the Rings. Like, you know how J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the Lord of the Rings and there's all these creative character names, you know? Legolas and like Gandalf and like, you know, the Hobbits and stuff like that. Aragorn, you know? It's like, try coming up with the name Hyven Kieng Jep Kemwai as the name of one of your characters in your, you know, little book that you're writing. most people just wouldn't go there. Like, it's just too complex. It's just too, like, what? How do you even say that? And he's the gold medal winner of the 3,000. You're like, well, I would be surprised if that 3 fest divides by 3. You're just like, okay, this is hyper-intelligence. It's like hyper-intelligence. God, which is just fascinating. Oh, another famous last name, the winner of the pole vault. On his chest would have been written Silva, which by my calculations contains love plus 9. Yep, Silva perfectly is love plus 9. You can find the love. 63. So Silva, and he's from Cuba no less, which is half a love perfectly. So he wins the high jump, the only one to clear over 16 feet, or the pole vault, pardon me. And we got that gem the other day, that vaulter, that is in a pole vaulter, divides by 3. Vaulter equals 99 equals gymnast. A gymnast is a vaulter, you know. And, and his first name divides by 3 as well. Yaresli Silva from Cuba. You know, now our brains are being stretched. Like, you know, sometimes we tend to look at things that we're comfortable at. You know, we start small. We understand our own country. We cheer for Canadians, you know. We cheer for people who are from our own country. And then it's like, no, God needs to expand us. It's like, you need to take the time to solve Hyven Kieng Jep Kamowai from Kenya. It's too good. But look at the pole vault now. Every word divides by 3 for the gold medalist for the pole vault. Silva, Cuba, and he's the only one to clear over 16 feet. And the pole vault, so this section of the province, what they do, so in athletics they're highlighting, these are highlights from the World Championships. I love it because they list 5 events for which they consider the top performances to be story-worthy, like really cool. Like the gold medalist will have had a superb performance, or they're just very entertaining events, like the pole vault. It's like, okay, here you go, son. Here's a pole. I want you to try and break your neck and sail your body over this bar that we're going to put 16 feet in the air, and it's going to be really cool. And we want you to practice this, and it's going to be insane. And people have been in love with it ever since. I've never pole vaulted in my life. That's got to be an amazing feeling. It just must be an amazing pleasure. Throwing your body like it's just the worlds that people live in that my brain has never felt. But God feels day and night. You're just like, surely God's pleasure is out of control. Like, you're just like, okay. My brain has never experienced what it's like to pull off a pole vault. That's got to be pleasurable. So now I should watch that performance, you know. World Championships. It's just too good. So, and find love in World Championships. Like, it's so glaring. It's so glaring. Love in world. Like, look at all the 27s. You can do that for homework. Find all the 27s that you can find in World Championships. Track and field equals love plus love. World Championships is so loaded with 27s and more love. Like, I'm starting to conclude that this is a more loaded event than even the Olympic Games. And I've been marveling, folks, how God has been choosing humble things to pull out some of the best numbers in. Like, for example, the Vancouver Whitecaps are not a World Cup soccer team. They play Major League Soccer. They play more or less, you know, at a national level in the Americas mostly. But it's just dripping. It's just like the best numbers I've ever seen. And so track and field World Championships. You're just like, most people don't tune in like they do at the Olympics, but man, this is like prime time. Like, I'm just getting so much, it's ridiculous. You gotta be kidding me. Bishop Jehovah just breaks the, you're just like, let me just let's just put it on the board, you know? I mean, come on. We're here right now. We got lots of time. We're God's kids. God's kids have lots of time. Let's get the World Championships on the board. Okay? Let's solve the World Championships in the name of love. This is an important set of letters because this doesn't just apply to track and field. There's a lot of World Championships for a lot of things. Chess equals love. You know? Magnus Carlsen, both words divided by 3. And then Bobby Fischer divides by 3. World Championships. And then track and field equals love plus love. For some of these people, the way God made them, it's a dream. You're just like championships. God made everyone completely different. So that it's the maximum variety fest. It literally, I believe, folks, that at the end of time, when Jesus Christ returns, everyone that will have lived in the story of God will have been the fullest, most maximum expression of the Triune God in all of their variety, all of their personality, all of their creativity, in all the stunning variety of mankind from the dawn of Eden and Adam and Eve right up until Jesus Christ returns and says, it's over, baby production time is over, and eternity is now here. You know, variety, the glory of God in total. So let's just find some love in the World Championships. I'm just shooting for 27s, okay? And 9. So there's a 27. Here's another 27. Here's another. It's very obvious in the word world. There's two 27s like flanking the R.